Hello, it's Tuesday, October the 10th, 2017. You're watching Life Talk, and I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Okay, Renee,
Yes.
in Pennsylvania, we have a pro-life congressman, a guy who not only is pro-life, but has adamantly pushed the pro-life agenda, ran on it when he was a candidate for Congress, and has always been pretty aggressive, apparently, in pushing the pro-life agenda. And now he is being forced to resign because it turns out that an affair, which is bad enough.
It's pretty bad.
His partner got pregnant, and he pressured her to have an abortion.
Yes.
Text messages were released, and of course the media is gleeful over this sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They're in high cotton on this. Messages were released. He was adamantly pushing her to have an abortion. Turned out she wasn't pregnant to start with. Of course, that has nothing to do with anything, because the issue here is not whether she was pregnant or not.
Right.
The issue is he was pushing her to have an abortion.
Abortion, right.
I had a call Saturday from a young lady in Pennsylvania. Kind of weird. You and I were just in Pennsylvania
We were.
last week.
Last week, yeah.
Last week today we were there.
Well, no, we were here Monday. We came back Monday, but
Oh, that's right. Anyway,
yeah.
okay, whatever.
Yep, we were there last week, though.
And people will be finding out about what that's all about here in the not too distant future.
And it's going to be good.
It's related to our campus project that we're working on. It's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be real
And
good.
we have some travel arrangements for next week
That'll
already.
be even better.
That'll be way better.
Right.
Yep.
But anyway, this young lady called me Saturday when I was here. And she was talking about this situation, and she said the pro-life community in Pennsylvania, or at least her experience has been, the pro-aborts are dancing in the streets over it and saying, see the hypocrisy, and this is proof why abortion has to be legal, because these people are hypocritical, and they'll use it. This shows that abortion is needed because they'll use it when the time comes. And we've heard this many times before, where you'll hear the pro-aborts laugh, and they say, "Oh yeah, you're pure pro-life. You support exceptions for rape, incest, and when it's your own daughter, that sort of thing."
Right.
First off, it's unnecessary. It's very understandable that the pro-life community would feel the need to be defensive about this and on the defense about it. But it's unnecessary, and I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. But let's make sure people understand something. We're not trying to deny this happened, because this does happen.
Yeah, we don't want to sweep it under the rug, and
No.
he needs to come out and apologize. He needs to, do it.
needs to
He needs
repent.
to man up and repent from what he's
Right,
done.
and he needs to apologize to God for telling everybody he's pro-life and then being willing to kill a child that God created.
Yeah.
But the fact is, nobody has ever claimed that pro-lifers are perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. You're not perfect. Neither one of us have ever claimed to be perfect. Even after we had a born-again, Bible-believing experience and became children of God, we still fail.
Well, and the reason why we go to church and we do the things that we do and try to bring people to Christ is because we try to better ourselves. We are we put Jesus on the cross.
Right.
We did. All of us did. Put him on the cross. And there was a song that I heard when I ran an errand today that piercing is for all of us.
Right.
Every hypocritical person in this world.
Every one of us.
So
Every single one of us.
that's right.
And and I've had a personal experience with this. I told you about this quite some time ago. I had a personal experience with this situation one time, several times actually, but one time in particular. And it involves a pro-life person. I won't use her name, and I won't say even what city she came from, because it might cause embarrassment for her family.
She was a leader in the ProLife Movement.
She was the leader of the Life Chain.
Okay.
She was one of the organizers of Life Chain in a large city here in North Texas, and I knew her. And she was divorced. She had been divorced for a number of years. She got involved with this man, and they wound up getting married. And this lady had a 15-year-old daughter who turned up pregnant. And this man told this lady that I knew that was a Life Chain organizer, and I'm not picking on Life Chain because This could happen.
It
in
happens to anybody.
Any place,
Yeah.
any church, any pro-life organization. This could happen in.
Right.
But he told her, he said, "I'm not looking to have any more kids. I've already raised my kids. Now you've got your daughter here, and I'm taking care of her as my stepdaughter. But we don't need another kid in the house." And he started pressuring her to have an abortion. The child. The child was adamant. I actually talked to her at one point. The child was adamant that she was not going to have an abortion.
Well, she had been raised to know that that's wrong.
Since day one. Since
Right.
before she was born, her mother was a part of the pro-life community. So this child was born from the cradle opposed to abortion. And she was just adamant she was not going to do it. They kept turning up the pressure on her. This guy did. And then he started turning up the pressure on her mother, saying, "Look, I'm leaving. Either you get her to have an abortion or I'm out of here." That was what it took to get the mother now pressuring this girl. And they were turning up the pressure on her.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose love, and you don't want to use the finances. Lose, not use, lose.
And she thinks, this is my last chance,
Right.
right? I've got this guy, and he's such a gem because he's trying to get my daughter to kill my grandchild.
Yeah.
But-
yeah, that's what she was thinking. That's not my belief.
Right.
Yeah.
But what do you mean?
No, just that she wants to keep her man in the house
Right.
to help with
Oh, yeah,
the
right.
manly jobs and the finances.
Right. She thinks, and this is my last chance.
That's right.
I won't get
Yeah.
another shot like this.
Right.
And he's such a gem anyway.
Right.
So anyway, she then starts putting pressure on this little girl to the point that they offered to buy her a car if she would have this abortion.
Oh wow.
And she even turned down
Many
the car.
times that has happened.
Yes, she turned down the car, but they kept hammering on her, and finally she did.
She couldn't take it anymore. She was breaking. I'm sure.
Well, she's a 15-year-old girl. How do you stand up against them? She had no support system other than another teenage friend of hers. And she finally had the abortion. This girl went off the deep end. She became she started using drugs. She started smoking.
After the abortion.
After the abortion.
Yeah.
She became promiscuous, very promiscuous.
Yeah.
Got involved in some very unhealthy behavior.
And this is what the pro-aborts say, that
Never happens.
It never happens.
Right.
The psychological and mental problems that come along with abortion,
Right.
it doesn't happen.
Well, here's the thing I always say. I can line up women and girls, and you've talked to many of them yourself. We can line them up from here to Dallas and back and Oklahoma City and back if we wanted to. That will tell you they regret having an abortion.
I know, and
But you
just,
can never find a woman who says, "I regret not having an abortion."
yeah,
You can never find that.
yeah,
But anyway, this little girl went off the deep end. So I know these sort of things happen. And you'll hear the pro-abort say, "Oh, yeah, you guys are real pro-life." And then all of a sudden your daughter gets pregnant. We see you in the waiting room. And the pro-lifers come back and say, "Oh, no, that doesn't happen." Well, unfortunately, it does happen.
yeah, it does.
But here's the thing that people need to understand. The pro-aborts use this as a justification for why abortion should not be the reason that it should.
Klein just said on here, that is why there needs to be legislation that criminalizes baby murder. Stop regulating it.
Right. You have to stop, you have to provide legal protection to the unborn, and this is proof of it. Because if even the mother who knows that it's murder or the grandmother who knows that it's murder,
And allows it to happen and pushes her daughter,
Right.
her own grandchild. This is her grandchild we're talking about.
and she's pressuring her to kill kill this
Yes,
baby.
and she carries around abortion signs. She talks to people about it. I mean, she knows better than anybody
Right.
that barely knows anything about abortion how wrong. I mean,
And what this means is
so
if you put
frustrating.
even that person into the right kind of pressure, into the right kind of circumstances, they will rely on abortion to get them out of the trap.
Yeah.
That is not a reason to keep abortion legal. That is the reason you make it illegal,
That's right.
because that baby is deserving of protection. And sometimes, you hate to say this, but this is a fact. Very often that baby has to be protected from its own mother,
That's right.
legally protected from his or her own mother.
Right.
And so the point I want to make, and what I told this young lady that called me on Saturday, don't let the pro-aborts put you on the defensive over this. This is not something that the pro-life movement, let's not make sure people understand something. The pro-life movement did not do this This was a person within the pro-life movement who is flawed. And just like this congressman up there, he is not the pro-life movement. I am not the pro-life movement. You're not the pro-life movement. We are people within the pro-life movement. And we can make mistakes. We can do things that are wrong. I've never done this, but I've never been put in a situation where this would bail me out. And I want to tell people something. I had a young lady that I had a conversation with, and you know her, you know who she is, but I'm not going to use her name. This young lady was like this girl in the story that I told a minute ago. She was a cradle pro-lifer, born pro-life. She has pictures of her at 5 years old standing in front of abortion. When I was talking to her about this situation with this woman that had pressured her daughter into having an abortion. Evil right there. That is the lure of evil. She said, as pro-life as I am, she said, I'm going to tell you right now, if I had been 15 years old and gotten pregnant, she said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know for a fact that I wouldn't have had an abortion. I don't know. I want to think that I wouldn't, but I don't know. Given how the pressure was put on me to always be a quote-unquote good girl from my grandparents and from my parents, she said, I know good and well that when I was 15 years old, if I'd have turned up pregnant, it would have absolutely ravaged our family.
Destroyed it, yeah.
And she said, I don't think I would have had an abortion, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you absolutely positively I would not have. But again, that's proof that her child needed to be protected by the law.
Right.
Because even this hardcore pro-life woman was looking back and saying, when I was 15, I'm not sure what I'd have done.
Yeah. Lamar says, my friends with Lifesavers has seen pastors bringing girls into the clinic for abortions. And we did that child predator report. And in the research of it, there were many pastors, many church members, counselors that did that took the girls in for an abortion.
Well,
so
I remember years ago on an episode of the 700 Club, Pat Robertson was talking about one time he and his wife had agreed to be counselors at a Baptist church retreat, a summer retreat for children. And what they didn't know, they weren't the pastors of this church, or they were just workers there. I mean, people that went to the church and agreed to spend a couple of weeks or whatever at the church camp to counsel these children, to be counselors of these children. And they didn't find out till later that at that retreat, 3 different girls got pregnant.
Wow.
And the pastor's wife, this is at a conservative Southern Baptist church, took those 3 children for abortions without their parents knowing it, because they didn't want it to reflect back onto the summer events.
Right,
that they had at church.
yeah. Rumors and gossip going around that they aren't supervised well enough. And
Right, yeah. So
oh, that's sick.
it is sick. So don't let, if you're out there, don't let the pro-aborts, especially if you're in Pennsylvania, and I'm sure that it's stronger there than it is anywhere else because this guy's a Pennsylvania congressman. Don't let them force you on the defensive on this. This proves our point, not theirs. And it also proves the point that we're all fallible. None of us are perfect. Not even me.
Believe it or not,
strange
right?
as that might seem, Not really, as you know. I fall somewhat short of that mark. But anyway, I just wanted to let everybody know that and to think about this. And because we get this twisted around and we think we have to defend this guy. We don't have to defend him. He has to defend himself.
That's right.
And he doesn't even have to defend himself to us. He has to defend himself to God.
Right.
Because God's the one he sinned against. He didn't sin against me. He didn't sin against you. He didn't sin against this woman that he was having an affair with. Well, he did, but not because of this situation. But this is the wages of sin. That's what this is. And this is just pure evil. This is the way Satan works. And Satan, this congressman out there, Tim Murphy is his name, Satan is rejoicing over this deal.
Oh, definitely.
When this man was sending out those text messages to his girlfriend, which he's not even supposed to have a girlfriend, when he's sending out text messages to this girlfriend saying, you got to have an abortion, Satan's laughing all the way.
Right.
He's laughing all through this deal.
Yep. Enjoying every bit of it.
Right? Every minute of it.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to remember. And, something I've told you many times over
that?
various issues. When you hear something in your mind, ask yourself, is that something God would tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not something God would tell you, then it's something Satan would tell you, right?
That's right.
Congressman Murphy should have, and maybe he did, but just ignored it. But what he should have been doing when he was writing these texts telling this girl to get an abortion, he should have been saying, now, is God telling me that, or is Satan telling me that?
Mm-hmm.
What's the answer to that?
Yeah, he was too much in a panic mode, I'm sure, at the moment to...
He's looking at losing his wife,
Right.
the respect of his kids, his seat in
career.
Congress, his career,
Yeah.
and Lord knows
Right.
what else he's looking at,
Yeah.
giving up. But all of that stuff is not worth taking the life of a child.
No, it's not.
And that's why the life of that child has to be protected
Right.
in law, just like anybody else's life is protected.
That's right.
What else you got? Anybody else
Nothing.
talking?
Yeah. I mean, Elaine says that we need to protect the voiceless and the defenseless, and
Right.
yeah, some good comments on here.
Got some good comments.
Yep.
All right, what else you got?
All right. Any questions or comments or suggestions for shows? Send them to us, and if you do, you will get this mug.
Right, Life Dynamics, really cool mug.
It's a very cool mug. It's deep. It holds a lot of coffee.
Wait a minute, what's this? You look like you're on The Price is Right.
You might want to drink it fast so it doesn't get cold because it doesn't have a lid, but that's okay. And I'm not Vanna or anything on The Price is Right. Just showing you the mug.
Right.
So just send us your show suggestions. We would appreciate it.
Send them to Renee. She's the gargoyle here. She peruses all that stuff and passes it along to me. And by the way, I'm sorry I didn't get since we used your story basically that on the show today. If you're the young lady who called me Saturday, because you told me you do watch Life Talk, if you're that lady, call me back and give me your phone number. We'll send you a mug because we did use your suggestion on the show, right?
That's right.
That's only fair.
That's only fair.
And I'll make sure that Renee sends it to you. That's one of her jobs is to make sure those mugs go out, which she very often doesn't. So if we used one of your suggestions and you didn't get your mug, right there's the culprit. But give me a call and I'll make sure that you get one out. Or call Renee. She'll do it. But
There's a question on here real quick. Do you want to answer it?
Let's go.
So do you not support the 20-week ban?
I support anything that will save a baby, period, end of story.
That's right.
End of story. I know we can go down that trail.
I just wanted to make that one clear. That one's a pretty important one.
It's a very important one. We're going to whatever baby we can save, we're going to save. Well, if we can't save them all at once, we'll save them all when we can. But I've talked about this before. We make heroes out of a lot of people. For example, Oscar Schindler.
Yeah.
Oscar Schindler is a hero, and he's a Catholic, and he's a Catholic who has a statue of him in Israel that the Israelis put up because he saved, I think it was 1,644 Jews from being sent to the death camps.
Right.
Oscar Schindler always knew he couldn't save every Jew.
That's right.
He saved the ones he could until the war was over and the Allied forces came in and made sure that all of them then were saved.
Right.
But in the interim, Oscar Schindler always knew he could not save every single one of them.
He did his best.
He did the best he can. Now, you think that when he stands in front of God, he didn't have a pretty good story to tell?
That's right.
When God said, what were you doing? What were you doing when they were executing my Jews by the millions? God didn't say to him, did you save every one of them? Because if not, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
He said, I saved as many as I could. Now, if you read about Oscar Schindler, one of the things that he did was, unfortunately for him, he went to his grave grieving over the ones that he could not save.
Yeah.
He could not get past that. But the fact is, he saved almost 2,000 people from being executed that would have otherwise been executed.
Yeah, he felt like a failure because he couldn't save them all.
Right.
But praise God that he saved the ones that he could.
Saved the ones that he did.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway, that's all the time we have. We're out of time for this show. Until next time, remember, I guess it'll be Thursday.
It'll be Thursday.
Thursday.
Yep.
Until Thursday, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you then.
See you Thursday.